I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.
Living your ideal life. Yeah, I'm going to talk about some ideas that I learned over the last couple of years from a mentor of mine. Living your ideal life. I'm a focal point coach, business coach, one of a couple of hundred around the globe. I just want to do a shameless plug for what we do. So if you ever have a question around business, sales, marketing, team, exit strategy, money, how to keep it, how to make it, any of those kind of questions, if anything around that resonates with you, shoot me an email. Information for me will show up later on the show, and ask a question. And if I don't have the answer, there's a network of approximately 200 other coaches around the globe. One of us will be able to help you with your questions. So reach out. There's no credit cards required for that Ask a Coach a question. And the other thing you can do too is that there'll be a gift for you when we get to the end of the show that will help you get your business growth score. So that'll be handy as well, right? Anyway, so let's bring on my title page for today. Living your ideal life. So this is a copy of an article, well, actually a small digital booklet that I created based on the information and the content over the many years I've been in the entrepreneurial space. Recently, one of my mentors and mentors to many successful business coaches around the globe was talking about this living your ideal life. Now, this isn't a new concept. Brian Tracy, in his book, Maximum Achievement, first chapter talks about looking at what the ideal life would look like for you and start to write a chapter on that with all the pieces that you'd like to include in that. Would be who would you like to meet? Where would you like to go? What would your business look like? What would your personal life look like? All of those sort of things, and compile it into your ideal life. And so I guess Stephen Covey said, start with the end in mind. That's essentially what I'm talking about today. And by doing that, living your ideal life, you're going to be able to identify the activities to get you to where you want to go in terms of the goals and actions. Maybe you need to learn something. All of that will come to fruition. It'll be more there'll be more clarity around it, I guess is really what I'm talking about. So in the article that we put together, or I wrote on this based on my interviewing of my mentor, Martin Howie, who's been in the business coaching space for a long time, is to look at what age you're at and go to an actuarial table. You know, that's what the insurance companies use to predict how long you're going to live and then what your premiums should be. So take that same kind of approach. Look at where you're at, figure out how many years based on that data you're going to live. And so if it's 10 years, 20 years, in those 20 years or 10 years, what do you want to do in terms of your business and your life? And how many hours a week, a month do you want to work? How much money would you need to earn in order to do the things that you've identified in living your ideal life? So essentially what you're doing is you're breaking it down into bite-sized pieces to look at, to see what needs to get done. It's also was very interesting in talking to Martin, how much time we don't really have. So he lives this and introduced this concept to me and some other coaches that I hang out with. And in Martin's case, what he wanted to do was be able to work 30 hours a week, earn $300,000 a year, spend 2 months of the year in his favorite place with his family, a couple of times a year, so a month at a time. So I mean, he's going to work 10 months of the year. He knows what he needs to generate in terms of revenue and income for himself to live the ideal life that he wants. So then he created a plan and backwards engineered it and looked at what he would charge for his services in order to be able to live the life that he wants. And he's living that right now. And he's 70, I think he's 78 this year or 79 this year. Don't shoot me, Martin, if I got it wrong. But it doesn't matter. His energy level is incredible. His knowledge is amazing. So thinking about that, have you written your ideal life story as to what it would look like? What would you be doing? And then figuring out how much money you might need. Now, this ideal life could be your retirement. It could be maybe you're not going to retire. Maybe you want to reduce the number of hours you're working, but and enjoy your family and your time off. Maybe you want to write a book or two or three. Maybe you don't want to do any of that. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you want to start a business. I don't know what it is, but I challenge you to do that for your own gains and own purposes, so that when you get to the other end of this life, when it's time to leave, we're all going to leave at some point in time. When it's time to leave, you leave with no regrets. Wouldn't that be amazing? Just looking down at a few pages I have written to make sure that I cover off the bullets here in the time we have today. As I said in this article, and if you want to copy the article, shoot me an email and I'll send it to you. It's available. It's happy to send it. You can read it. It's about 4 or 5 pages, not a tough read, and has more of the nuggets of what he was talking about. And actually, it even gives you a URL. I would put it up on here, but it's too many characters to type in. Yeah, he must be 79 this year, because when I wrote this, he was 76. And one of the things he points out is, what are the unavoidable time sucks that take up time that we need to do, can't avoid, have to do? As much as I'm an advocate of we don't have to do anything, and I suppose some of those things are true, but there are sometimes things that have to be done if we don't want to have the consequences. That we don't, if we want to avoid the possible consequences by not doing it. But getting stuck at a traffic light, we can't control that really, but we can control how we react to it. We could stay out of traffic, I guess. Anyway, he talks about the time sucks that show up, that get in our way. So when you actually reverse engineer what your ideal life is going to be looking like, then you can avoid some of those things, or at least minimize them. And the word vision always comes up, whether it's Brian Tracy, Charles Hannell, information, Napoleon Hill, Bob Proctor. All of those guys talk about having an end point and looking at where you are today. So one of my favorite mentors, Lou Tice, always talked about what's your current reality and what your ideal life looked like. So that's kind of what we're talking about here, essentially, is to look at where you'd like to be in your life and create a plan to get there. And imagine that you have all the things you need to have in place to make it happen. Allow yourself to be an open book and free to explore what it could be like. And then reverse engineer it and look at things you need to do, learn, and make happen in order to be able to live that life. You might want to be part of a mastermind group. You might end up getting a coach or a mentor. There's a whole bunch of things that could help you get there. So if you would like to live your ideal life, start planning on it, start thinking about it, and make it happen. And don't beat yourself up if it doesn't happen right away. Just move the timeline a little bit further out so you've got more time to do it, and have fun along the way. And I turned off this one slide. I'm going to turn it back up. If we can make that happen. Hang on, guys. This one here, I showed this on a previous show, but I guess maybe it resonates with me again today. Success comes in cans, failure comes in can't. So be an option thinking, forward looking individual and design the ideal life. And I promise there would be a gift for you for being on the show if you're watching this now or watching the replay. And the gift is go to my website, coachphil.ca, and click on the link in there and get your business growth score if you're a business owner and check out where you're at. There's nothing to buy, no credit cards required, and you'll get some really cool information that tells you where you're at. You might find that you're right on target with your business, or you might find there's a couple of holes that you need to fill in and want to do. So that's my gift for being a viewer today. Appreciate you. Let's see who's here with me right now. It's Jason. Good morning. There he goes. Living the ideal life means saying no more often. Boy, is that ever true. How many of us get caught up and say, yes, I can do that. Oh, yeah, no problem. I can do that. Oh, yeah, I can do that. Yes, I'll help you with that. Yes, I'll help you with this. Yes, I'll take this course. Yes, thank you for thinking of me. I'll jump on that. I have a really good friend and buddy who's actually put that to the test for me, Jason. He's offered me up some additional training to support me in my growth to where I'm wanting to get to. And the reality is, as my former trainer of border collies, I used to own one, have one, and loved one. We were out on the farm working with the sheep. So we were walking back to have some lunch after having my dog on the sheep herding practice. He says, you know what, Phil, there's always 27 and a half hours of stuff to get done and only ever 24 hours to get her done. So Jason, your note and advice here, a tip, whatever we want to call it, to be okay saying no to things, it'll free you up and you'll have more respect from the people that you work with because they know that you're on a mission and you know what you need to do, and it's okay to say no. Matter of fact, it's your right to say no. Very good tip. And I get a woot from Kellyanne. I just talking to her earlier this morning. Man, is she excited now that her dog's a little bit healthier and can breathe. And she has her first date in a long time. She has to drive a couple 100 miles, but sounds like this is the right guy for you. Just saying. Now everybody knows. She's working on creating her ideal life as well. So, my friends, that's the show for today. Last thing I want to show you here is this here. Remember, the you in wonderful represents you because you truly are wonderful and unique. So continue being yourself and live your ideal life. And it's okay to say no.
I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.